Welcome back to the channel where we're going to continue working on our 1952 Dodge, and we're finally going to get the front end on this thing. But before we do that, we got to get the doors on. But before we do that, we got to do something about the bottom of the doors. Before we do that, I want to fix the wiring in this thing so the doors aren't in the way.
It's reinforced so it won't just flap in the breeze. Oh, that was hot.
Easy disassembly. Airbag. Okay.
Yeah, let's flip it over. Cut some more. That's hot.
In this episode, it's going to be how one thing leads to another, and let's see how far we get on our 52 Dodge. I'm Kevin. This is Ridge Runner Garage. Blaze frame. The saga continues on our 52 Dodge. Now we are, I think, over the hill, and then we are on our way down. We get to do all the fun stuff now. We get to put the wheels on it. We get to put the doors on it. We get to start putting the interior on it. We get to, as soon as we get the front end on it, right? I'm excited about that stuff. We got a running and driving truck now. And those of you that commented on the last video, thank you very much for that. I very much appreciate it. That last video has half as many comments as the 54 GMC Air Ride video did. That one has been out for 2 years and it's over 100,000 views on it, so that's pretty awesome. Now, if you guys are just tuning into this, this is a 1952 Dodge truck that we've been working on. We actually floor and firewall swapped this with a 2007 Dodge Durango. If you guys want to check that out, I encourage you to go back and look at those videos to kind of get you caught up to where we are now. I want to put the doors on this thing so I can get the front end on it. The problem is well, the doors are kind of rotted on the bottom, and I've got to do something about it. I've got to reinforce the doors, do something, but I don't want to lose the patina on the door. I don't want to cut in weld the bottom of the door, so we'll see if we can figure out that. Right now, though, I need to do something about the interior in this thing. Well, let me rephrase that. I need to finish the wiring in this thing. I want to put gauges in it. That steering column, I have to do something about that because that's clearly in the way. Let's work on getting the steering column cut down, because that's, let's face it, that's actually terrible looking. So we can work on throwing some gauges in this thing. So here we go. Let's get into it. All right, we've got our steering column out of this, and I'll tell you, one of the only reasons I'm keeping the steering column is it's got a lot of electronics and stuff in it, between, you know, the multi-function switch working, the whatever security module this is called, I forgot what Chrysler calls this. Now I want to cut this down. My idea originally is to cut this off here, slide it down, re-weld it back together, shorten the shaft, and duplicate what I've got here farther down in the shaft. I think I have another idea though. This shaft, in case of an accident, is made to collapse. And I don't know if I was to hit this with a hammer, would I be able to collapse that? Let's try it. Look at that. Right there. It's collapsing, except for it's going down in there, which I don't know if I want it to do. Need to kind of spread out the load here. I don't know if this will work. Yeah, why not, right? Not sure how far it's going to go. I'm thinking that's pretty far. Let's grab a tape measure. That was about 3.5 inches. That only went an inch and a half, so let's get this airbag out of here. So I collapsed this outside airbag. Okay, and the center went down as well, so it must collapse in here. Let's take a closer look. This right here collapsed 3.5 inches. This right here is only gone not, well, an inch and a half, if you will. So that must mean we have room right there. What'll happen if I hit it here? Oh, look at that. And we have a shorter steering column just like that, by 3.5 inches. Okay, well, just an update. It's 3 hours later, and I still have not gotten the steering column. Well, I've bolted it in a few different times, and none of them have actually worked. So it's all about failing. You know, I've tried a few different things, and as you can see by the mess I've made, that I have clearly been, well, I've been making a mess. Anyways, originally the steering column had these inserts in there, and I went to the hardware store and I got some bolts. Then I put some bolts down through it, and these just proceeded to break off. So I got a couple brackets here. These are big, beefy, I think they belong to a steering of something, and use some all thread. And I bolted those to it. But now, even though they're kind of bolted there, the steering column is still loose as heck in there. So that's not going to work. I've got to come up with something else. All right, well, these elaborate things are what we ended up with for brackets. This is literally an all-day event, but that's okay. We've got it finally solved, I think. Either way, if the steering column's a little loose, I'm going to live with it. I've had enough. I think it's 3 o'clock and I started at 9. 6 hours to make steering column brackets. Yeah. How's that? That sucks. What a blast. We're going to get the front end on in this video. And we're going to get the doors on. We're going to fix the bottom of the doors. We're going to it's going to be a great Sunday. Get all this stuff done. How did that work out for you? Here we go. What do you think? A lot shorter of a steering column, isn't it? This is probably about in the right spot. I'm not going to keep the wheel here. I'm definitely going to buy another wheel, except for I need to make sure that I get the right amount of pullback so I have a little bit of room here. I painted it black currently because obviously if it was sticking out with gray, it was ugly, right? And I'm going to run the wires up. Then I kind of threw a little black paint on those. My idea is to throw a little, you know, in the military canvas, you ever see those sea bags? Is to get some of that canvas material, wrap it around here, and maybe tie it just to kind of hide that a little bit if possible. From here on out, here's where we've got ours so far. I've got a fuel gauge for this thing, and I have got what they call vitals. I've got oil pressure, coolant temperature, and voltage. And these are the Aqueous, if I'm saying that right. I actually got these. I get these are about the 3rd set, actually the 4th set that I've got from the auto parts there. I get these from AutoZone down the road, and they come with everything you need
They come with all the adapters in here, whether it is the standard or metric ones, whether you're doing an LS. I just did a Ford. I had everything I needed in here. The Hemi probably won't be much different. I'm gonna find a space for this fuel gauge, and same thing, probably stick these gauges over here. Now originally I was thinking, oh, maybe we take these out and we put these gauges in there. Well, unfortunately, that is a one-piece pod, or it looks it anyways from the back side. That's all one piece, and this is kind of hard to get to, so I am just gonna hang some wires underneath it, get my battery positive and my fuel sending unit from the original wire that went to this instrument cluster here. And I also noticed that one of these wires over here, all the way over on this side of the dash here, plugs this electric pedal in, so I might still be able to get those working. So anyways, I thought I would be doing this before lunch, and it is almost 4 o'clock now, so hooray for doing the steering column and having that taken all day. Awesome. All right, well, let's crack open this box, and well, I don't know, let's see what we can hook up for gauges. And so we're gonna have to press pause on this for a few days. Turns out when you're doing an aftermarket Hemi swap, in order to hook up coolant temperature sensor, you need an aftermarket adapter for the thermostat housing, which I don't have. So I will have to order all that stuff later. We're going to shift gears and actually get onto these doors. And you'll see what I mean about the bottom of these doors, that they are in bad shape. Now, I don't intend on replacing the bottom of the doors. I just want to maybe reinforce them somehow. And I think what I plan on doing is, I plan on taking a piece of flat steel and going across here, drilling a couple holes through here, rather than mess up all this stuff and have it all new. Because I don't really want, I mean, we're after the patina on this truck. And then maybe make a template of this, wrap it around the edge, and just try to reinforce this. I'm not trying to fix it. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I'm just trying to just reinforce it so it's not so loose. So let's work on getting these things cleaned up, and whatever's living in there. 32.5 by 5. Doesn't have to be perfect, just gotta be decent. Listen to the ball joints in my neighbor's truck right there. Listen. Can you guys hear it? Hang on. Listen. Pretty soon, that wheel's gonna fall off that. Alright. See how this fits. Alright. Got this other piece cut here. But I don't know. Let's see what I can do. There we go. There's one door done. It's as far as I'm gonna go with it. Got it around the corners. It's reinforced. I only have a couple of spot welds here, so it won't really ruin the shape of the door. So. For the style of the door. It's pretty wavy there, no question about it, but that's where we are. What do you think? We got one door on. Look pretty good. It's definitely a little ripply at the bottom, isn't it? Well. But it's not all flopping in the breeze. Door gap looks pretty good. Closes nice. So that's gonna have to do. Now we just gotta figure out how to duplicate what we did on this door. If I got one piece cut, wish me luck. All right, and that is the bottom of the driver's side door. And again, we didn't really screw up the patina on the door at all. It's kind of there to stay, so we can wipe it down and you won't really notice it, but at least it's reinforced so it won't just flap in the breeze. Oh, that was hot. Dang. Yeah. Oh. And like that, doors are installed. That took me about, I don't know, 900 years to line up, but a little bit of a gap in the bottom. Unfortunately, both doors are like that. I'm assuming that piece we made in there is probably a little too wide. Could I fix it? Yeah. Am I going to? No. It is, well, I've been doing some research trying to figure out this cooling temperature deal, and the Hemis, or at least the Hemi that I have, and some of them, it turns out some of them have other provisions, but the Hemi that we have only has one port for the temperature sensor. It doesn't have any other holes for provisions for anything else. Coolant temperature sensor that I have is mechanical and it needs to screw into a hole in the intake or something like that. Originally, it just has one sensor, sends it to the computer interprets it and sends it to the temperature gauge on the instrument cluster, and that is how it, you know, puts a gauge or interprets what the temperature should be. However, on here, we've got this port that I kind of looped this together for the heater core, and it screws into the bottom of the water pump housings. Here's what I did. Here's where we are. I was able to use this hole for the heater core and just plug this one off. Now I've got some drain, whatever. And this is all from the adapters in that kit. While I was there, you can see I also ran the oil pressure sender and just ran them through the firewall. All the adapters, like I said, were all in this kit. This kit is fantastic. If you get a chance, check that out. Bought it right at the auto parts store. Or right at AutoZone anyways. Alright, now that we got some of our stuff right in here, let's get this stuff wired up. Oh, great. See what I did there? Oh, can't believe I did that. Getting low on zip ties too. Jeez. I imagine everybody that has this kit does that same, or everybody that installs these does the same thing. Yeah, we'll put the temperature gauge over here. Okay, much better. Hey look, it's through the hole. All right, perfect. God damn it. Okay, third time's the charm, except I had to use white zip ties, which I don't love. Whatever. What are you gonna do? But I installed it just to make sure I didn't screw anything else up. Third time's the charm. Okay. Standing back looking here, the level is level, but doesn't it look crooked? Well, that's 37. And over here is 37 and a half. It is crooked. Even though this is level, this piece must be bent. I don't know why that's a shock, but we'll figure it out. All right, 37. To that, where are we going? To that hole, 37. Alrighty, let's take a look. That looks much better. That's better. All right, get the welded. That's better. Once I welded those back corners, as you can see, we are level, so it should look fairly normal. I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, now we just got to figure out how to make some brackets for the front. I have no idea. Well, that's why you don't throw anything away. Found some of these, I don't even know where these brackets came from. I don't have a clue, but I had them in a bin, so, you know, it's good to save stuff like this. Can weld this to the front, weld this on the bottom of the frame. And there you go. A couple pre-made brackets. Just got to cut them in half, clean them up. Front end we have installed. Look at that. Well, it's starting to look like a truck now. What I did was I used those little brackets and I welded into the frame and the front end. I've got another bracket that I'm going to add to this, and it's going to come down to the front, and that is going to be for when we put a bumper on this. So we're going to continue to reinforce this. It's pretty solid now, but I want to move on to the running boards. Now the running boards, as you can see, are in really bad condition. Pretty rusted, kind of rotted out. I mean, they're not kind of rotted out. No, they're rotted out. But the guy I got the truck from, my buddy Roger, here's what he did. He added a giant piece of diamond plate to that running board. He cut out the rust, which I may just leave, I'm not sure. But I'm just going to do the exact same thing. Went to the sheet metal place, or the steel place, and got myself a big piece of diamond plate. I'm going to clean that up, and I'm going to weld that to the bottom of that. And then we're going to figure out how to get the running boards on this thing. Doesn't look like it's welded on well at all. Easy disassembly. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Let's see how she fits. You know, this thing's probably not gonna fit perfectly because we had stretched out the body just a little bit. So let's see what we got here. I might have to Google what this thing looks like too, because I am not 100% sure. Well, you know, looks like a running board, right? Well, what do you think? It's not exactly what I would have thought, if I'm honest. I mean, the gap's not horrible there. Obviously, we've got a little bit of a bigger gap there than we normally would. But I looked online, and that's kind of how they look. I don't stick out too far right here. I guess that's what we're going with. Maybe you pull this forward and attach it or something. I'd straighten that fender out a little bit if I did that, so that's not a bad idea. Does it overlap that? I just don't know. Okay, we got a running board where it's gonna live. Now, the bottom here, it's flat going across to the frame, so I need something really strong if somebody's gonna wanna stand on this running board. What I've got is I've got a bunch of C-channel laying around here. I've got a bunch of this stuff I actually use to put the bed on, so I'm gonna cut some of this stuff up and use this as bracket for the running boards. Let's get to cutting. Running board installed. Brackets. Looks pretty good. Super sturdy. The door misses. Perfect. All right, well, the next thing I got to do is make some bumper brackets. And the reason I need to do those next, I would save it to do, you know, something later in maybe in the next video. However, I still need to build a battery box over here, and I still need to mount that fuse box. and I want to weld the frame or do something, but I need to get the bumper brackets there first. What my plan is at work, they replaced some lift parts, and I dug this out of the scrap bin, and it's plenty thick enough. I'm gonna cut this up and make my brackets out of this big piece of steel here. I mean, it was made for holding up a car, so I'm sure it's plenty strong enough. You know, I don't know why more people don't have torches in their garages at home. I think that torch tip and hose assembly was from Harbor Freight. The tanks, I think I paid maybe $80 a piece from them, and they last forever. The cart, stolen from the Dollar General, so everybody should have torches at home. We have retrieved our first piece. Turns out there was a big plate in there. So, you know, you always screw up the first one. Yeah, let's flip it over, cut some more. That's hot. Well, got my brackets all cut off. Got the welder out, and here we go. I'm getting a little tired of welding, I'm gonna be honest with you. Here we go. All right, so it's the next day, and by the next day, I mean it's a week later. So I've been away for a few days out of town for work, and on my spare time coming home, I have figured out how to mount both of our fuse boxes. On the Aspen, the fuse boxes were together right about in this area on the fender well, and they were all molded together in this little plastic piece. Anyways, what I ended up doing is I cut that plastic piece in half so the fuse boxes were separated, cut the tabs off. This right here that you see in here is 1x2 aluminum, and I just self-tapered it from the backside, self-tapered those to that piece of aluminum, popped the fuse boxes on, and I think it looks like, I mean, it looks pretty good. I don't think Chip Foose is going to be calling me anytime soon, but there you go. I think you couldn't have done anything much better. Now I started, and I'm gonna put a battery box up in here. I started building the battery box, and I ran out of gas for the welder. And if you saw just a few minutes ago in the last part of the video, I ran out of oxygen for my cutting torches, which you never really run out of 2 gases at once, which was, I might as well play the lottery because I only had to make 1 trip to the welding supply store. So got my oxygen filled for my torches because we'll use those later, and I got my gas for my welders. So from here on out, when we get this battery box finished, I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Yeah, we'll go from there. Check it out. Got our battery tray mounted, welded, pretty stout. Still hot, so I gotta wait to fit the battery and figure out what we can do to hold it down. In the meantime, I am going to get back onto working on these bumper brackets. Yeah, that came out pretty good. Maybe Chip Foose will be calling. Somehow I doubt it. Sorry about the rain. I don't know how this is going to sound on the camera, so hopefully this audio is still usable. I did figure out how I'm going to hold this battery down. So putting the battery up in there really isn't anything above it other than the rusty old fender, except for the bracket that we made. So I got a couple old hinges that I had just laying around, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld a piece of steel, this flat steel that I had sitting over the corner, a piece of steel on the frame and a bolt hole on it, so when I go to lift it up, this will all come loose. So I don't know, let's make this, see what happens. Ooh-wee. And just like that, we have a battery box. Beautiful. What do you guys think? I think it came out pretty good. It's not going to hit the wheel, or at least I don't think it will. Guess we're going to find out the hard way, though. All right, what's next? Actually, you know what's next? Now that I got this stuff in place, I'm going to do something about getting this wiring all tied up. Cool wheel reveal time. So we got our original wheels and tires that we had from off the Chrysler Aspen. Actually pretty nice wheels and tires, honestly. I mean, they're 20s. The tires are in excellent shape. However, they look terrible on this thing. They look like stock wheels. So what we're gonna do is I got these. What do you think? They're Boyd Smoothies, and they'll have a nice center cap here. I'm gonna get them all on the truck. I'm gonna pull this thing outside to see what it looks like. I'm pretty excited to do this right now. So yeah, our new wheels. What do you think? Check this out. That looks bad. Plenty of room, fits real nice. Wheel looks awesome. Let's check out the other side. And from this angle, check it out. Man, it looks bad. That is awesome. It's looking good. So, well, we got a bit of a problem here. It's on the ground. And, well, I thought this might be an issue. They're actually a quarter or a half of an inch farther in than the other wheels are. But they clearly hit. So I don't know what to do. I'll have to figure it out. It looks freaking awesome, but the front does not fit at all. Back looks bad, the front looks bad, but a different kind of bad. But the hood's on, the doors are on, the front end's on, the running boards are on. I haven't done anything with the interior yet. I've got some mounts started for the front bumper. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. I got a seat over here that I got. That's out of a Dodge or a Ford van. Anyways, it's coming along. I'm excited. I got the battery box in. I got the fuse box. They're in a position that they're going to live into. The hood opens and closes really nice. That fits really good. I don't know what to do about this. I may end up taking a page out of Casey Customs videos and might chop these front fenders up. I don't know. I didn't want to. I really want to save the patina in this. I don't want to mess up the rust and stuff on this truck, but I don't know. I might have to. How else am I going to get them out of there? I don't think the fenders are going to bend that far. Maybe they will. We'll see. Anyways, it's Saturday and I have to get this video edited and out tomorrow. So if you're seeing this on Sunday, I can't imagine I'm going to have enough time to get this edited, but I'm going to try anyways. If not, I'm sorry. It'll be out on Monday, and that's when you guys will be watching this now. Do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. You know, hit that little bell. There's a bell around here someplace. You know, you'll get notifications when we actually post something. So from now, we've got to get the seat in our next video. We're going to figure out what to do with the front fenders. We're going to make our own bumpers out of this big piece of steel here. I'm going to make, you know, a big push bar and stuff on that. Get the rear bumper in. I've got some old barn boards that I found for the back, and I got a little trick that we're going to use for the filler hose and that, so we'll be able to put gas in a kind of a cool way. So from here on out, I've got some really cool West Coast style mirrors to put on this, so I'm excited about that. And you guys will see those also in the next video. Hopefully in the next video, after we get that stuff done, we're actually going to take this on a ride and go someplace in this truck. So, but anyways, thanks guys for watching. I will see you on the next episode of Ridge Runner Garage.